Hello, Drake Hog and Sadboy Sadboy here. Today I'm reviewing this new MrCiberLuck album, PHONKADELIKS. MrCiberLuck is a rapper who I reviewed previously with his EP, What About the 808? And if you've seen that video, then you'll know I did not like that project. It's muddy and blown out interpretation of drill music mixed with his profoundly dumb lyrics combined to make one of the worst projects I have ever heard. So when one of his commenters suggested that I give this album a listen, I was more than hesitant. And that feeling only increased further when I listened to the intro track on this project, High School. It was a very drastic shift of sound into the subgenre of funk that instantly put me off going any further. I'd already listened to this guy butcher one sound, why would I want to hear him poorly appropriate another? But after a few months, I decided to give it a listen, and surprisingly enough, it's not terrible. Why am I just now fucking noticing I didn't put anything on the screen? God damn it. The production from Rabies is pretty solid. Their beats usually consist of a cowbell melody, a monstrously obtuse bass, and a drum pattern. While it's nothing special, it certainly helps to keep the album energetic. Some of the melodies, like 666 and Run Away from the Cops, actually have a decent amount of catchiness and might get stuck in your head. That latter track, Run Away from the Cops, also has one of the catchiest refrains on the record, even if it just consists of 2 filler bars. Run away from the cops, gotta hop it all up on my cock. Run away from the cops, gotta hop it all up on my cock. It's catchy, but completely nonsensical. Another highlight in the track list is Cabin in the Woods. This has the punchiest beat on the album with its brutal bass and intense kicks. There's even a guest rapper on this track who speaks only in German, which is a pretty nice switch, I guess. The song is confrontational, ruthless, and concise for what it is. And then we have the track Big Buana. This has one of the most developed hooks on this entire record, especially since it contains more than a singular phrase being echoed endlessly. It actually feels like there was time put into the structure and rhyme scheme on this one. Another notable thing about this track is the odd and off-tempo intro that helps us separate it from everything else here. However, that's pretty much where my praises for this album ends. While the instrumentals are decent, MrCiberLuck himself has virtually no presence on his own album. His vocals are smothered entirely by each and every beat here, so almost everything he says during this 26-minute runtime is completely unintelligible. Lucky for us though, the lyrics are on Spotify for us to read in all their glory, and I have them written down, that way I don't have to, pull up Spotify. Blowing through these red lights, I gotta get home fast. Hit a pregnant woman, man, just leave it in the past. And then later on in the same track he says, smoking on that pregnant bitch, I smoke her by the pound. When I'm smoking on that baby, man, I'm smoking just an ounce. Mutilation, fuck it, make me a vodka patient. Gonna flow in like an ocean. Beating you up while you took a dump. It's the best timing to fuck you up. The lyrics on this album are trash. Most of them are filler and just consist of very vague threats to assault the listener, so they're not as blatantly stupid as What About the 808's lyrics, aside from pointlessly rapping about killing pregnant women, but they're arguably worse as they leave no impact whatsoever. And considering you would never know what's being said if you didn't read the lyrics, it was impossible from the start for these lyrics to have any impact whatsoever. So if MrCiberLuck's lyricism and vocal performance isn't exactly the centerpiece of the album, then what is? I think that would be Rabies, and more specifically the beats he provides to fuel this hyper-aggressive atmosphere that MrCiberLuck decides to go for. Without the sinister and unkempt feel of the instrumentals, there would be nothing here. But I would like to stress the difference between raw production and unkempt production, because this album definitely consists of the latter. Raw production is something like the grittiness of Danny Brown's Really Dough, the pure aggression of a track like Inanimate Sensation from the Powers That Be, or the explosiveness of JPEG Mafia's BMT. Unkempt production is the cowbell melody on Mutilation, which clips an incessant amount from the moment the track starts. Or how everything on Clock Sets a Glock a Clock, yes, that is a real track here, sounds like it's competing to be the loudest thing in the mix, and everything just clips and is distorted and so fucked. Or the god-awful mixing of MrCiberLuck's vocals during the hook of Big Papa Pump. Add to that the very minimal intro of the track that really highlights the fact that MrCiberLuck is not that good at rhyming, and you get what is easily one of the worst tracks here. His production is generally okay here, but it's not really greatly mixed. So yeah, while this is an improvement over his last project, it's still not a very great album. The rough production from Rabies does a lot of heavy lifting, since Ciberluck is a rapper who I'd say he has a lot of stuff to work on before I can see a point where I can enjoy him in the future. So yeah, I'm feeling a 2 on this one. A 2. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Bye.